Hi everybody, Playtendoguy here, and welcome to my review of Burnout Paradise Remastered. Video game remasters have been to a penny this generation. Many different games made the leap to current gen consoles. Some games deserved a second chance to let more folks play them, and some frankly didn't need to. But anyway, 5 years into this console generation, and EA is finally releasing its first remaster, Burnout Paradise, and damn, it's a corker. Burnout Paradise was released 10 years ago, and while it was a popular game, it was overshadowed by EA's other big racing franchise, Need for Speed, and subsequently the Burnout series burned out. But in recent years, the Need for Speed series has completely crashed and burned due to poor entries, and with last year's horrendous entry, Payback, the series looks like it's on its last legs. So with the release of Burnout Paradise Remaster, it feels like the right time to do so. With this generation, there seems to be a quiet death of the fun arcade racer, so this is a welcome return. Burnout Paradise kicks off straight away with the Guns N' Roses Paradise City blasting out the TV speakers, and the action gets going straight away. The game has no story to bog you down, you're just given your first car and let loose in the whole map of Paradise City from the get-go. And it's with this sense of freedom and with no bogging you down with needless tutorials that really brings so much enjoyment to the game. You are there to drive fast cars, perform stunts and take in the sights, as well as smashing yours and other people's cars to bits. With no story, your main form of progression is to get your Burnout license. You start the game off with a D-class license and work your way up to different classes by winning the various different races and events littered around Paradise City. Instead of having all the events and races marked for you on your map, you first have to discover them for them to be marked on your map. But these events aren't hard to find, as there's normally an event at each crossroad. There are 120 events to find, and trying to find them all is great fun, as you find new areas of Paradise City that will help you with the races. Talking of races, most arcade open world races have you following a certain linear path to get to the finish line. But refreshingly, Burnout Paradise has no track at all. You have your starting point and you're showed where the ending point is, and how you get there is entirely up to you. At first it can be a bit confusing, as I had to constantly pause the game to check the map to see where to go, but once you get used to Paradise City and its roads and secrets, it becomes really enjoyable and rather liberating to go off the beaten track. It's not just races to compete in, there's many other events contained in Paradise City, such as Marked Man, which sees you trying to make it from one point to another whilst a group of cars try to ram you off the road. There's also Stunt Runs, which sees you jumping off ramps and performing all manners of stunts to try and get a high enough score. There's also Road Rage, which sees you trying to smash all the other opponents' cars off the road, and Burning Routes, which acts like a time trial for specific cars. Overall, there is a lot of stuff happening in Paradise City, because as well as the 120 events on offer, there's plenty of secret paths, billboards to break, cars to take down and own, as well as the online integration and DLC. You've certainly getting a lot for your money. Surprisingly, for a 10-year-old game, the online integration is actually rather modern and ahead for its time, as each and every road of Paradise City has two different types of road rules, one of which is a time trial which sees you rushing from one end of the road to the other in the fastest time to rule that road. Then the other one is Showtime Road Rule, which smashes up your car and lets your smash car travel across the road whilst also smashing up other cars in its ways, cause the most amount of damage, and you rule that road. You also have your online mode, which is similar to most other open world races these days, which sees you and a load of players exploring Paradise City, competing in events or going around smashing up each other's cars. It's entirely up to you. The only really thing that lets this game down and does show the game age is that there isn't any fast travel, and if you want to change your car you have to drive all the way back to a garage to do so. Doing this can be a bit annoying at times, especially if you want to try all the different cars on offer. It would be nice if you could have changed cars on the fly, but hey. As this is a remaster, all the previous DLC comes packed in with the game as standard on the disc. And unlike DLC nowadays, which really feels like cut content, this is great crafted content that adds a lot more to the game. The DLC includes a huge collection of bonus vehicles like motorbikes, fun mini versions of cars, a load of cop cars, and even a DeLorean that hovers. There's also another small new area called Big Surf Island, which introduces a load of new events, secrets and billboards to smash, which adds a fair few more hours of enjoyment to the game. Overall, there's really a lot of DLC to dig in here with all the different cars to try and experiment with, though giving you access to all these DLC cars at the start of the game can make the game a bit too easy. Most remasters have graphical and frame rate boosts, but upon initial reaction the game looks very little different to the original game. The game runs at a rock solid 60 FPS, but then again so did the original, and the textures, objects and cars look hardly any different too. There is a resolution boost to 1080p or 4K if you are playing on a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X, which is good, and there's some nice little effect changes like improved smoke effects. That being said, for all the little graphical work that went into this game, it's still a rather good looking game. The car crashes in particular are really detailed and impressive to look at. Sound-wise, the game features the same licensed soundtrack that was in the original, meaning it has one of the best/worst soundtracks about. There is a decent selection of songs ranging from Faith No More to Adam and the Ants to even Depeche Mode. The soundtrack does feature some nice classical music as well that does mix well with the gameplay, but there are some pretty bad songs in here, most notably Avril Lavigne's Girlfriend. But to be fair, the soundtrack is a product of its time and it can be a guilty pleasure to listen to at times. But for me, listening to my Spotify playlist is the best way to go. The only real gripe I have with this game is that the game is priced a bit too high for a remaster that is just a Game of the Year edition with a resolution boost. For $34.99 you do get a fair bit of game for your money, but you can get the PS3 equivalent for pocket money these days. £20 to £25 would have been a much more reasonable price, but even for the high price, it is still worth it. Conclusion time now, and for a 10-year-old game, Burnout Paradise is still a joy to play even after all these years, and was a game that was very ahead of its time. Paradise City is a brilliantly designed city to explore with plenty of secrets and activities to keep you busy. Yes, it may be a bit basic and overpriced for a remaster, but there's nothing really quite like this on the market, and I really hope this marks a rebirth of the Burnout franchise. I'm giving Burnout Paradise Remastered an 8.5 out of 10 with the title of great. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming. Bye!